escape the dungeon.
Hello, everybody. This is Escape the Dungeon, the podcast where we ask you to join us as we explore the world beyond the world's oldest role-playing game. My name is Mike Cripps, and I will be your host and game master, and I am joined by three stellar players. Zach Brass.
Hello.
Dom Brass.
Hello.
And Nate Brass.
What's up, Internet?
I thought you were going to do your usual spiel.
Oh, hi, I'm Nate, and I'm playing Cypher today.
Each season, we will be playing a different tabletop role-playing game. This season, we are playing Scum and Villainy, a Forged-in-the-Dark game published by Evil Hat Productions. Guys, it is episode 8 of the podcast. 8, the number of players on a soccer field.
No. That's
if
not.
you are...
Correct, I know.
12, maybe?
Like 12?
Yeah, no, dude, no.
Let me peel back the curtain a little bit. We usually try to record this podcast every week. Sometimes we miss a week here and there, though we've been pretty good, I'd say, about doing it weekly. But last week on our usual recording day, I had a work thing. You know how it is. And so we skipped it, which means if you're doing your math correctly, it's been 2 weeks since we recorded. And what I would like to know, what I challenge my three players to tell me is what have you guys accomplished with your lives in the past 2 weeks?
Jesus Christ.
Ooh, that's a good one.
This guy.
Yeah, I know, right? What an asshole. He doesn't tell us what he accomplished with his life. He's just are you better now? Like, have you improved upon the shitty state that you were in 2 weeks ago?
I will gladly tell you what I have accomplished in the past 2 weeks. In the past 2 weeks, I have finished 2 novels that I was reading. I played miniature golf and got a hole-in-one, and I won a free game of miniature golf by doing that thing at the end of the course where, like, you have to try and hit it in, like, a specific hole to win a prize. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, the
Gotcha.
end of golf. Nice. You got it in on that?
Yeah. So I won a free game.
Well
I asked the guy if I had to use it then because I didn't want to play another round of golf that day. And he said that it was good for life, good until the end of time. So I have just a infinite potential.
20 years later shows up.
Yes.
A half-free mini golf date in the future waiting for you.
Save a little money.
So that's what I've accomplished with my life in the past 2 weeks.
That's incredible. I finally started back up Psychonauts 2, and I beat that game. I got like halfway through and just dropped it for real no good reason. It's a great game.
Same, except I've never gone back to beat it.
Ooh.
You should. I highly recommend it.
I went back and I was like, I'm going to play this again. And it just gets better. It's really fun. You know, playing it brought me back to talking with Matt, our friend Matt, about the Breath of the Wild, because he's talking about like, you don't like really advance any of your skills, and like it gets kind of monotonous, and like the puzzles in that game are just kind of a little thin. In Psychonauts, you're just constantly switching out what your different abilities you have on hand is, of like the 4 different ones you can use. And like I found myself just constantly switching to be like, oh, this is good for this situation, this, and then it was just really fun.
I truly never finish video games anymore.
I feel the same way. And so I was getting really close to just being like, you know what? I'm just going to delete this from my Xbox. And I was like, you know what? Let me just give it another shot. And then I got through it.
Well, that's great, Nate. I'm proud of you.
And now it's deleted.
It's gone forever.
Never to be played again.
In a lot of ways, you could have accomplished the same thing by just deleting it immediately.
Zach, what have you accomplished in the past 2 weeks?
Oh, what have I done? I started taking a class 2 weeks ago, probably exactly.
Nerd.
So that counts.
It sounds like you started taking it. Doesn't sound like you finished it.
God.
And I don't know if that counts as an accomplishment.
Yeah, but mini golf, guys. Let me tell you about mini golf.
Oh, yeah. I also started going to therapy. Oh, yeah. And you know what I also started doing the past 2 weeks? Working out. And I've been pretty consistent about it.
I think every day, the things you do to better yourself are accomplishments. You don't need to finish things to accomplish.
But have you finished working out?
Hopefully not.
Have you reached the
I admit,
end
I did
game?
skip today, partially because of this. And I was like, oh, I don't really have enough time.
Oh, Zach, is the podcast having a tough time on your health? Like, are you going to be able to keep doing this?
No, you know what really is having a tough time on my health? Staying up with you on your birthday until 1 o'clock in the morning.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Zach has gained 40 pounds since the start of this podcast 8 weeks ago.
Yeah, guys, it's actually crazy.
All in the legs, too, so it looks a little weird.
Oh my god.
Dom, what have you accomplished with your life?
I'm pretty excited about this.
Mm-hmm.
I did some research. I'm gonna get a new phone, so I did that, and I finally put the big ass table up in my room. So I'm gonna set up the office space here.
Dom, I gotta ask you a question. Why did you need a new phone?
Because he never gets cases, and so he breaks
you
his
know what?
phone in the
You know
first
what?
2 weeks
That's
of owning
not-
it. And
that's
then
not
owns
even-
it for a
that's not
while,
even-
and then just has a shitty phone.
That's not.
No. But like specifically for this one, did you do something interesting? Is there a good story behind this particular phone?
There really isn't. I wanted to get the new phone because it was a little damaged, and I was like, well, I want to do recording and stuff on this phone, so I'm gonna get a new phone. But then I dropped it, and it was unusable, so I had to accelerate the.
They make these things that make drops okay.
No, that's not true.
You should get one
That's
for
a
the
lie.
new phone.
It's propaganda.
Like, a clumsy
Propaganda.
person having their phone without a case is just
It's propaganda.
why? It's arrogance. You know you'll fail and you don't care.
Hubris, Dom. Hubris. You are but Icarus flying to the sun without your phone case.
Those wax wings won't get you very far, my friend.
I was just hoping there might be a wood chipper involved.
There was no wood chipper, Zach. This one wasn't fun.
Not this time.
Not this time, yeah.
I've had way more fun phone breaks. This was not fun.
What's the worst, most embarrassing way you've broken a phone, Dom? I'm assuming there's a truly awful one.
Well, one of my phones survived getting run over, which is pretty cool. The one that was probably just like, because it wasn't a damaged phone or anything, I was throwing stuff out in the apartment building I was living in at the time. I was throwing it down the trash chute, and I had my phone plugged in to my headphones. And so when the phone dropped and started dropping into the trash chute, but it caught on the cable for just a second, and it felt like slow motion as it caught on the cable, came off, and fell down the trash chute. I tried to get it back. I couldn't. It was just gone. So it was surreal. It was a surreal experience.
Oh, that's wonderful. Well, great. Sounds like we've all had, good weeks. Maybe some better than others. No, saying anything,
Okay.
but like,
Calm down there, Mr. Hole in One.
how many hole-in-ones did you guys get? Are you guys ready to play some Scum and Villainy?
As a matter of fact, I'm not really feeling it tonight. I was thinking we could play Pathfinder instead.
Yeah, sure.
I was thinking kids on bikes.
Oh my god.
All right, look, I don't know about kids on bikes today.
Yeah, you guys are gonna trigger me. All right, we're gonna play Scum and Villainy. That's what's happening. Let's go.
All right. I think I can do that. Crash Jordan is on the case.
Welcome to the Procyon Sector! The race is on! Cypher versus their arch-rival Choss, and the trademarked title of greatest pilot in the galaxy is on the line. Not to mention a motherload of creds that Cypher has bet on themselves. with the crowds of Nightfall keeping their eyes on the race. That leaves Crash, Gorpheus, and new companion Bobby O of the Records to break into the subterranean hangar of the Echo Wave Riders to loot and pillage. With so much to gain and so much at risk, will our crew be able to emerge victorious, or does failure loom ahead in the future of the Phoenix 13? Teen. So, we are gonna pick things up back at the start of this job, which is really 2 jobs in one. Cypher is racing against Choss in this crazy, convoluted, circuitous race through the streets and airways of Nightfall, this urban planet of just sprawling city with like thumping techno music and, purple neon lights everywhere flashing that's, in near constant darkness because there's basically always an eclipse up in the sky. And while that is going on, Crash, Gorpheus, and Bobby O are heading to a place they know to be the underground bunker filled with valuable vehicles and tech and who knows what else, belonging to a faction of racers that's aligned with Choss called the Echo Wave Riders. We ended last week's episode with the, I forgot what it's actually called, engagement roll, thank you very much, to determine basically what level of danger this crew is in at the start of the race, and you guys are going to begin in a controlled position, which is great. So what I think that means is that Choss and Cypher are neck and neck for like the first quarter of this race, just parallel with each other, maybe one inching in front of the other occasionally, but side by side as you're going through the crowded, heavily trafficked streets of Nightfall. You're bumping into each other, you're, scraping against other vehicles on the road because you're going through the streets. This is a street race. You're right there with him, Cypher. You are feeling good. You are in this race still. And while the crowd is gathered along the sides of the streets to watch, there are like news drones that are following and streaming this to the space internet to watch. While all this is happening, while the city's full attention is on this race, Crash, Gorpheus, and Bobby O are descending down into the depths of the city, into the underground bunker. You are like invisible, basically. No one is paying attention to you. And so you're just able to confidently move on by until you get to what you see to be like a large reinforced door that is leading further underground. And you can see that there's like a control panel on the side that you might want to scan a key card or enter a code in to open it. And there is a single armed guard that you guys are able to clock as like private security that is standing nonchalantly outside, just kind of leaning against the wall, keeping an eye out, but like just barely, And so I think I want to start with Crash and Gorpheus. As the race is going on, as you guys have this controlled position with this incredible distraction of the race, how do you want to approach this?
Well, we should probably knock out the guard first. Don't you agree, Gorpheus?
Yeah, Captain Crash, I don't think that's a bad idea. But do you think we could knock him out in a way that was completely non-violent?
Well, I'll tell you what. Let me try something.
Crash shoots him.
Ooh, okay, so we need to be loaded up for this job.
Oh, yes, thank you. Everyone has to declare your load. What load level does everybody want to use?
Would it be ridiculous for me to have a normal load?
I think it would be a little ridiculous. You're on TV, or at least space radio, I assume.
He's on space radio.
Yeah, whoever the character in fiction is that does those welcome to the Procyon sector announcements at the start of each episode.
He's commentating?
Yeah, he is there.
Exactly. So we've got the race on the radio so that we can hear to make sure nothing weird's going on there.
Oh, I have a communicator. I would assume all of us do. So I figured we all have communicators.
No, but we're definitely playing the radio.
What if you don't, like, the commentator starts saying something crazy that you're not aware of about that he sees from a different perspective on the race?
I got you.
Like the guy coming up behind you, like with, ready to crash a deer or something.
I like to think you guys have like one of those little TVs they put in cars.
Yeah, just like a
little floating like robot that has like the little TV on it. While you guys are
it's
doing
got an
this.
antenna though, so that we have to adjust in order to get good signal.
Okay, so I think I have a heavy load.
I guess I should probably have a normal load.
It only makes sense.
And Cypher, you said you were gonna stick with light load?
Guess I'm gonna have a light load again.
What a freaking nerd.
Look, that's what you get for being on TV.
I know, it's awesome. This is like I have to waste one of my 3 items on a communicator right away, Now it's like I have 2 items to use on this race. That's it. What if I lose, guys?
Don't lose.
I put all my money on this race.
More than all your money. You went into debt for this, man.
You did.
We'll get to you. We'll get to you. Don't worry.
So, are we in our ship? Like, what's the deal here? Like, I don't understand. Like, how did we descend into this area?
You guys might have your land vehicle if you want, your 2-seater that you have. I think like the streets that you would need to go down to descend into this subterranean hangar might be a little too narrow for the Phoenix 13.
Plus, you don't have your pilot. Like, come on.
Yeah. No. Well, look, that wouldn't stop Crash.
That's true.
Especially with you doing a big race like that, he'd be like, well, if he's too busy to pilot us, don't mind if I do.
All right, Crash, what's your crazy plan? What are you doing to this guard?
Crash is going to walk up to the guard and say, hey, I have a question. Can you help me with something?
The guard takes an earbud out, and you might be able to hear the noise kind of squeaking out of it very clearly, listening to that space radio report of the race while he's on duty.
Oh, are you listening to the race too?
What's up? Hey man, what's up? What do you need?
We're a little lost over here. I was wondering, and I'm gonna pull out a map and start the area. I'm like, we're trying to get to the the memorial park. Could you? And then as I start explaining this to him, I would just like to pull a stun baton out from behind my back and attempt to stun him.
Okay, yeah, this is definitely gonna require some kind of roll.
Yeah.
I might have let it slide if we were just gonna stick straight, with straight role play there, but when the stun baton comes out, that means I'm gonna ask you for a roll.
That's fine. I would like to engage my ability shoot first.
Oh, okay. Tell me about this.
When I attack from hiding or spring a trap, take 1d. When there's a question about who acts first, the answer is me.
Awesome. Yeah, I think that definitely applies. You'll get +1 die on this roll. What action skill are you going to use?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think Skulk makes the most sense.
Yeah, I think that makes a ton of sense. So go ahead, you can make that skulk roll, you can get a bonus die, you are in a controlled position, and I think this particular plan can have great effect.
All right, so, oh god,
Ooh.
I rolled 2 3s.
2 3s. We take the highest result, which in this case is a 3. But the good news is, on a controlled roll, not the worst possible thing that could happen in this game.
Get those bad rolls out early.
On a 3, you're blocked or you falter. Press on by seizing a risky opportunity. So basically move from a controlled position to a risky position, or withdraw and try a different approach. So you might be so sneaky in this moment that if you want, this guard doesn't really even realize that you go for the baton, where you have enough time to realize that it's not going to work to pull back before he even realizes what's going on.
All right.
But you won't be able to try that kind of approach again.
You pull your baton out, it doesn't turn on. Yeah. You're just like messing with it behind his back as he's telling you, and you're just like, fuck, put it back.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so I realize that my stun baton won't turn on for some reason right now. I have to, maybe I put the batteries in backwards or something. So I'll just quick slip that back into my pocket there while I'm talking to this guy. Yeah, there seems to be some kind of traffic blockage because of the race over there, though. When he points out some area where we can go, like, so we're gonna have to somehow get around. And then I'm going to look over to Gorpheus and, like, kind of give him the eyes and, like, wave my stun baton behind my back a little bit and point out that it's not turning on.
So, tell you what, Zach, I am going to start a clock here. That is just going to be guard suspicion.
This sounds perfect.
I'm going to call this a 4-segment clock. I'm not going to mark any of those segments full right now. Just, it's a clock that exists.
Perfect.
Gorpheus approaches.
Gorpheus, you approach and you have a heavy load. You are clearly, not just a civilian walking around. As you approach, this guy just, extends a hand outward, like, in a halting position, and puts his hand now, like, is just fully on his stun baton, and says, hold on, what's...
No need for violence, gentlemen.
I'm just gonna... Can I ask you both to take a step back? Just take a step back, please, and I'll be happy to help you out however I can. This is private property. I'm gonna have to ask you both to take a step back.
My good man, have you heard of the new way? Let me tell you. See, do you ever feel like you feel a deep connection with the greater cosmos, with all the people that you know? Do you ever feel like you're playing an extended game of hide and seek, where you are trying to find yourself but not find yourself?
Sir, no soliciting. Thank you for your time. I'm gonna have to ask you to leave. This is private property. I'm afraid I'm not interested in whatever mystical bullshit you're talking about.
Whoa, all right.
Sorry,
I mean, look,
I've got a job to do here.
Well, I have stuff to do too. Can we, I think this is important. I'm gonna save your concept of, ego and reality. That's my goal here. I want to help you.
So, Gorpheus, I would like some kind of role from you to try and... what are you trying to accomplish here? Let me ask you that.
I would really like to convert him. So I want to try to make a sway roll. It's clearly not going very well.
You want to make a sway roll to convert this random guard to your mystical religion?
Absolutely.
Did you walk up to this man decked out like you're going to war and just start preaching about your non-violent religion?
Yeah.
It's wild that Gorpheus picks heavy load every time.
What I would love from you in this moment, you said you wanted to roll sway, right?
Yes.
Make a sway roll with a risky position and limited effect.
I rolled a 5.
A 5. So you do it, but there's a consequence. You suffer harm, a complication occurs, you have reduced effect, you end up in a desperate position. You're not going to convert this guy in, a couple minutes of talking while he's on the job protecting a hidden hangar full of valuables, but you are able to distract him a little bit. There's the consequence here is I'm going to tick one of those 4 segments off of guard suspicion, as you basically get him in a feedback loop of like, sir, please, sir.
No, you don't understand.
And as you were doing that, Bobby O kind of like slinks by and starts going to work on that card reader, that panel that is on the side of the wall to open up this vault. From here, I would love to jump over to Cypher and Choss.
Let's go.
Like I said, Cypher, you are neck and neck with Choss through the beginning of this race. He is glancing over his shoulder at you, smirking, smiling, giving you a thumbs up through different turns, clearly just taunting you. But you're keeping up with him. How this is going to work for you is I'm going to start 2 clocks. Both are 8 segments. One is going to be Cypher's progress, and the other is going to be called Choss's progress. Like I said, both 8 segments. This is going to represent your position in the race. Whichever one of you fills up your clock first wins.
Okay, and these are both starting with 0 filled in?
They're going to both start with 0 filled in. That said, as you like round a corner through like the first quarter of this race where you have been neck and neck, Choss just looks over at you as he goes onto a straightaway, nods, flicks a nozzle on his hover bike, and the engine just like flares, right? It just woo, and he just starts taking off full speed ahead. I would love to clarify what kind of vehicle you are on here, Cypher. You have your own hover bike, the one that was damaged by the Grand Faraniki. You also have a vehicle provided to you by your contacts with Conclave 01, who said they would sponsor you. In the moments before the race began, you would have time to evaluate and look over these 2 vehicles. The one that is yours is just a kind of a better vehicle overall, but it's been damaged. So it is going to be faster, but a little bit harder to control and maneuver. The vehicle provided by Conclave 01 is going to be slower but easier to control and maneuver. Which of those 2 vehicles do you think you would have taken into the race?
I know which one he would have taken.
I'm so nervous.
This is a race to determine who is the greatest racer in the galaxy. Which one do you think I'm taking? All risk, hopefully reward.
I was gonna say all risk, no reward, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with my bike, which I mean, Cypher's been waiting for this straight away too. Cypher has modded this bike for the years that they've owned it, so I'm going to flick my NOS switch and hope to keep up with this guy, which I feel like would be a rig roll.
Yeah, that sounds good to me. You are still in a controlled position, and because Choss's vehicle is just a nicer, better, faster model than even your vehicle would have been if it was not damaged, you are going to have reduced effect in any kind of direct competitive roles, basically. Does that make sense?
Okay.
You have to be creative.
That is going to be a controlled position, a standard effect roll, because you're on the straightaway, you have the opportunity to pull ahead, but his vehicle is just better than yours.
You gotta get in his slipstream. Take advantage of him.
That is a 5.
A 5. That means on a controlled roll, you hesitate, withdraw and try a different approach, or else do it with a minor consequence. A minor complication occurs, you have reduced effect, you suffer lesser harm, you end up in a risky position. So you can either do something other than a rig roll and maybe see if you can get a better result, or you accept that, but you have a consequence.
What does this area of the track look like right now?
So, like I said, this is a straightaway. It is flat ground level, or strip of road with limited traffic going down either side. There is still traffic. This is still a street race with people driving to and fro on their hover bikes, on their hover cars. But in this particular stretch of road, it is about as open and straight as you can get.
I think at this point in the race, Cypher knows they're not going to be able to just win off of straight speed. This is a straightaway where they're going to lose a lot of ground. So they press on their NOS just enough to catch up to try and send out a hacking signal to screw with Choss's controls to slow Choss down.
Okay, so it sounds like you're withdrawing and trying a different approach on this. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, great. So you're going to need to make an action roll other than rig. So what action roll would you like to use on this?
I'm going to try and hack to get into his controls a little bit, like mess with him to slow him down rather than speed me up right now.
You can absolutely do that. I would like you to mark some kind of equipment to do this with. But go ahead, and that means you're at 2 load already, right?
I mean, hacking tools, I feel like, is a useful thing for me to have on this.
No, definitely. Just be careful about, whatever else equipment you might want.
I mean, I'm pretty sure I know exactly what other equipment I will have to use. And then I'm done.
Give me your roll with the same thing, controlled standard.
That is a 6.
That is a 6, which means you do it. You realize your NOS, your vehicle itself, is not going to be quite enough. You realize you might have to play a little dirty. You hit the nitrous just enough to get behind him by the narrowest of margins, and you start to hack. And you're doing it with like one hand, the other hand on your handlebars, and it's this manic madcap scene as you're typing away on your little module, and it is enough. And you see Choss's vehicle start to stutter and stall, and you are able to pull ahead. I am going to mark off 1 progress for Cypher and none for Choss in this moment, as you just hear his voice in your communication systems, Cypher, and says, "Oh, yeah? We playing dirty now? Oh, then we're going to play real dirty, Cypher."
You are the greatest fraud in the universe, and soon all will know.
No, Cypher, that would be you. I am the greatest pilot in the galaxy, yeah?
We'll see about that. Look who's in the head.
And so you pull away on the straightaway, Cypher, and you pull into the next turn, Choss now on your heels, and you see up ahead traffic starting to slow down to a crawl, a traffic jam up ahead, as you see large construction vehicles like a floating backhoe and drill bots that are tearing up the street in front of you. And we will come back to you in just a moment. I want to go back over to the guard, Crash and Gorpheus and Bobby O. Bobby O slinks by, like I said. He starts to go to work as this wizard hacker on the system to try and get you guys into the Echo Wave Riders hangar. But this guard is getting a little bit more suspicious. Gorpheus, you realize you're kind of coming to the end of your usefulness on Yeah, you're end of sentence. You're coming to the end of your usefulness. Your distraction of trying to do your new way spiel is getting limited returns right now. What are you guys going to try and do to give Bobby-O a little bit of time to get the door open?
I'm sorry, I didn't want to do this. Real quick, Gorpheus, do you have a stun baton on you?
Yeah, obviously.
Okay. Well, I'm going to just quickly grab Gorpheus' stun baton off his belt and turn it on and throw it at the guy's face.
Okay. Yeah, give me an action roll. What do you think you want to use on this?
I would say that one's a scrap, you know. I'm throwing a stun baton at a dude's face.
Sure. So go ahead and make your scrap roll. You are in a risky standard position.
Oh my gosh. Well, I rolled a 4.
So with a 4, you do it, but there's a consequence. And what that means here is that, so you take the baton, you throw it, you get him in the face. It's kind of a glancing blow. You don't fully incapacitate him in this moment. I'm going to change that guard suspicion clock to just a bypassing the guard clock, keeping it 4 segments. I'm going to click one more on here. So now you're halfway past this. But the guard is going to pull out his stun baton as he recoils from being hit in the face and is going to just start like swinging it wildly around. And you're able to like jump back as he's doing this to avoid being struck. But I am going to put you now to a desperate position.
Gorpheus wants to use his psychic powers to lift the stun baton and pull it towards himself, striking the guard in the back.
That's awesome. I love it. Yeah, give me an action roll, Gorpheus.
Okay, I am going to make an attune check. I'm going to use my magic, so I'm going to stress myself out to do this.
Okay, so you can take a stress to get an extra die on this. You'll make an attune check. This will be a desperate standard. Would you like an extra die for a devil's bargain? Here's my bargain for you. There happens to be a camera in the alleyway that is facing in your direction, and it's just kind of like slowly scanning, turning back and forth. But in this moment, it happens to catch you doing this to the guard. I'm going to give you a little bit of extra heat at the end of this job, but I'll give you an extra die on this roll.
Yeah, absolutely. That seems fun.
Okay, so give yourself another extra die.
Okay, I rolled a 6.
Boom.
A 6. Just 1 6?
Yeah, just 1 6.
Damn.
Yeah, so that's not a critical, but that is a normal success, which means that you do it. You are able to use your magnetic power to like force him to move the baton behind his own back and jab it upwards. And he goes, you know, as like a cartoon, you can see his skeleton for a moment. As he gets electrified. That will be one more tick on the bypassing the guard clock. He's eventually able to wrench it free, but he's looking pretty close to being incapacitated as you hear Bobby-O shout, I got it, boys, as he removes his hacking deck from the panel, and you see that large vault door begin to open. The guard looks over his shoulder. Oh no, and he's gonna look back to the two of you and keep swinging that baton.
Look, we didn't want to do this, okay? I'm sorry. This was supposed to be a religious intervention. Captain Crash, what are we gonna do?
I'm just gonna attempt to knock him out, finally.
I think we both tackle him, and
yeah.
I want to just choke him out.
Yeah, we just, two of us just jump him.
Yeah, I think we're just going to tackle him, and I just want to try to choke him out with my ex-military training.
Yeah, so it sounds like one of you will need to make an action roll. The other one can take a stress to give a bonus die to the other.
Yeah, I'll take a stress.
I'll roll a scrap roll. Desperate?
No, you're back up to risky now, since this guy is so close to being incapacitated.
And standard effect, right?
Yeah, standard effect.
1?
Oh no!
And I rolled another 1.
Did you not put in the bonus die from the help?
Oh, I didn't.
Okay, yeah, well, you get one more dice then.
Hey, we got this. So first, roll on this dice, guys. It was a 6.
Amazing.
Freaking awesome.
The two of you almost feel like things go really bad for you, but you're both able to dive on this guard. And Gorpheus, like you said, you just choke him out. Do you use one of your big hands or do you use your little hand?
The little hand just covers the mouth.
I'm primarily using my larger hands to do the chokehold, but I do use my little hand to kind of plug his nose up.
Fantastic. So yeah, and after a moment, this guard is fully unconscious. You have bypassed him. The three of you, Crash, Gorpheus, and Bobby O, are able to head into this now open hangar bay. We're going to jump back over to Cypher and Choss. Cypher, you have taken a momentary lead in this race, but you now see this horrible congestion on the road and this construction going on in front of you. What is your approach here going to be?
As the camera zooms in on Cypher's eye sensors, you see a small flashback to Cypher's training, as they refer to it, in the woods racing against the Grand Faraniki. And they remember, seeing these downed trees and riding up them. And Cypher is going to use what they've learned and find the closest thing they can to a ramp and jump over some of this congestion so they can get on top of the cars.
Wonderful. What kind of action roll would you like to do with that?
Scramble.
Okay, this will be a scramble roll. I think because of this congestion and construction here, I'm gonna move you from controlled to risky just because you don't have quite the space to maneuver. So make it a risky roll, standard effect.
How many team gambits do we have for this mission?
That is a great question. You, as a crew, always start with 1 because you are a crew of bounty hunters, and you also gain 1 every time you get a 6 or a crit on a risky roll, which Dom just did as Gorpheus, so that would give you another 1.
I also got a 6 on a desperate roll. I don't know if that...
That does not count. Get out of here.
That seems crazy to
It's
me, but...
very specifically just on a risky roll.
Okay.
Interesting.
One might argue that that implies that a worse than risky roll you would also get it, but I am choosing to be literal with the text.
To be fair, you do get your level up points for rolling.
No, you're right.
That's
you're
true.
Right.
Desperate situations. So I believe you got a resolve for that.
Yeah, exactly. So, Dom, make sure that you are marking a resolve XP for getting a 6 on that desperate attune roll.
I feel so cool.
And you said it would be a standard effect, extreme effect?
Standard. Could have been great, but your car sucks. So,
well, whose fault is that?
The Grand Faraniki.
Your fault.
I mean, yeah, it is your fault.
My captain didn't buy good equipment. We spent it on other stuff.
would you like to push yourself, ask for a devil's bargain? You're not really in a position where the other guys can aid you, unfortunately.
How many stress is it to push myself?
To push yourself, it's 2.
For 1 die.
Yeah, for 1 die.
If I push myself, can I make it a great effect instead of standard?
Yes, you can push yourself for improved effect. So if you don't want to take that extra die, but move yourself from standard to great effect, you can absolutely do that.
I'm going to try that.
I like it.
And then I'm going to take a gambit from the crew.
Okay, a gambit is spent, bringing you down to 1. That'll be a bonus die for you then. So how many dice does that bring you to?
I believe 2.
2. Okay, give me your roll.
That's a 5.
All right.
That is a 5. You do it, but there's a consequence. I think what the consequence here is... So first off, you do it, right?
You're gonna destroy my bike immediately.
Come
on, man.
Yet.
You destroyed my bike and gave me a wonky leg in one roll last mission.
Yeah, because you rolled like super bad. So first off, you do it. You get another mark on your clock, bringing you up to 2 out of 8. I'm also going to automatically move Chauce's progress up by 1 after like every 2 sequences, regardless of your roll. I think you're going to maintain your lead here for a little bit. But as you are going through, you're scrambling through the traffic, the construction, these swinging vehicles that are tearing up the road, jumping over the divots and the potholes. You look over your shoulder and you see Chauce flick a couple switches on his hover bike. These 2 mechanical pieces detach from his vehicle and start flying towards you. And you realize they're little like Urbot drones that have small little turrets on them that start blasting towards you. Just beep, 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 beep. Beep, 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 beep. And I am going to put you in a desperate position now as you hear Chauce again over the radio say, "I told you I was going to play dirty Cypher. Funny, you Urbot can't even beat humans at that."
Seems funny that you did not think that you could beat me without using some Urbots of your own.
I choose to ignore the irony of that. As these little Urbot drones are just shooting these laser blasts, pew 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 pew, pew 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 pew, right at your tail. You pull ahead out of this construction zone, Cypher, and you see that the route that you have like hollow projected so that you know that you're going in the right direction for the race.
Yeah, it's in the corner of my screen.
Yeah, exactly. You see that it's telling you to do a extremely sharp turn down a very narrow alleyway.
This is where the best show that they're the best. Cypher's gonna go into it as fast as they can and do like a barrel roll to like create the perfect turn. I'm gonna try a home roll here to just destroy this turn and leave Chauce in my dust.
So that is going to be a desperate roll. Because of how sharp this hairpin turn is, it's going to have limited effect. Like, you need to slow down a little bit in order to get this right. And that's going to mean you're giving Chauce more of a chance to catch up in this moment.
That is a 5.
A 5, that is a desperate roll, so make sure you're marking your prowess XP. You do it, but there's a consequence. You suffer severe harm or a serious complication occurs. I'm going to give you a choice here, Nate. Those turrets, those drones that are firing away at you, are they going to hit your vehicle or are they going to hit your injured leg?
Fuck you. I'm going to try and resist consequence no matter what it is. So you're going to hit my leg and I'm going to resist it, baby, because I'm a man.
Okay, so you can resist a consequence by rolling insight, prowess, or resolve. This is definitely a prowess resistance. So you are going to roll your prowess.
Okay, because of my starting ability, Ace Pilot, I have potency on all speed-related rolls. When I roll to resist the consequences of piloting, gain +1 dice.
Okay, yeah, that definitely applies to this. So give yourself a bonus die on this.
Let's see, double 6s, that's 4.
Oh,
A 4. So you are going to suffer 6 stress minus the highest result. So you're going to take 2 stress. And that is going to reduce the severity of the consequence, not necessarily going to eliminate it entirely. So,
Damn it.
so that is going to basically take it from a severe consequence to a moderate consequence. So I think here is the drones are firing these lasers at you. Pew, pew, pew. They're getting right in towards your leg. Like they scan you. They recognize that's your weak spot. That's where you're injured. And that's where they want to take you out. It's some Urbot on Urbot violence. They are firing away, but you are able to time your hairpin turn to just the right moment, slow down just enough that you are able to force them to recalculate their trajectory, their triangulation. You are actually able to turn in such a way that they don't hit your injured leg, they hit your good leg. So you are going to take a level 1 harm on your other leg that is going to be just superficial damage. Like they just kind of scratch, not nearly as bad as the Grand Fariniki got you. But that means that both of your legs are injured, and because you have taken harm, you have to reset that healing clock.
I know. I'm never getting that healed.
And so you maintain your lead, but you suffer this minor harm as you pull into that very narrow alleyway with those Urbots still firing behind you and Choss on your tail, but you maintain the lead. Okay, so that's going to bring Cypher up to 3 ticks on the progress clock. Choss is still at 1. You have gained an even larger lead, even with this damage that you've taken. But you know Choss is a competitor. He's not going to stay that far behind you for long, especially on his super tricked out bike. And so now let's jump back over to Crash, Gorpheus, and Bobby O as they're walking through this fortified door that has been opened into this splendid vault. Everything is shiny and chrome. As far as the eyes can see, you see vehicles, hover bikes, reinforced, armored cars. There's a single space helicopter looking thing up on a platform high above you. But you also see that there are countless Urbot drones that are flying to and fro, sort of in a matrixing, zigzagging pattern. They don't seem immediately aware of you, though, but there are dozens of them.
Captain, what are we doing about the drones?
Well, maybe, this would be really convenient if we had Cypher here, but no, we have Bobby O. Bobby, is there any way we can do something to help you maybe hack or make a EMP to turn off all the drones?
Whoa. First thing, as he takes out his switchblade comb to comb back his receding hairline.
God, he's so fucking cool.
First things first. The name's Bobby O, not just Bobby. Bobby sounds like a loser. You think I'm a loser, Crash?
No, you're definitely right, Bobby O. That was completely disrespectful. Honestly, I would hate me too. So let's.
Oh my God.
I promise I'll make it up to you later. And I wink, just in a,
sensual way?
No.
Wait, are you hitting on him?
Well, with this many Urbots flying around, maintaining this place, it looks like, and probably protecting the merchandise, there's got to be a central server that keeps them all in line. You know what I'm saying? There's got to be a place we can find and put the wrenches to. Or, and he kind of shrugs, could just have some fun and blow all these things away, boys. What do you think?
No, I think we're gonna take the non-violent, destructive approach. Since we are such close friends with an Urbot, I don't really like the idea of making an exception like, oh, we could kill robots, they're just robots. It's like, well, you know.
They're a little bit less Urbot-y than him, though. You know, he's like one of the real, you know, humany Urbots.
No, I see what you're saying. I think it might be a little bit problematic.
No. It's just, you know, it would be really fun to blow off a little steam.
Hey, Captain, I'm gonna say it. I think you're being a little bit problematic right now. I'm just gonna say it. I think I like Bobbio's first idea. I say we try to make a hack check to discombobulate them.
We need to find the central server. So, are you good at looking for things?
No.
Yeah, no, all right. Well, hey, look, Crash is going to first attempt to look to see if he can find a place that, like, looking around where it would make sense for there to be, like, a server room.
Yeah, so make an action roll for however you want to progress here and whatever you're trying to accomplish with whatever skill you want to use, because that's how we play this game.
Yeah, so, I mean, the thing that makes the most sense is a study check, right?
How good is Crash at studying? Please tell me.
He has zero in study.
Yes, then study sounds perfect to me. So go ahead and make that study check. We'll call this... I think the punishment of having 0 dice is enough. We're going to call this risky standard, which is about as default of a difficulty rating as it can be. So you're welcome, Zach.
Yep, thank you. I appreciate that. I mean, I don't think it's that hard to look around and be like, well, that's an office area that looks like they might have some stuff in it. Bam. Unfortunately, with 0 dice, ooh, I take the lower of my results, when I roll 2.
Yep.
Well, that was a 3 and a 6, so it looks like we got a 3.
A 3. Things go badly. You suffer harm, a complication occurs, you end up in a desperate position, or you lose the opportunity. I think what happens...
How badly could it go looking for a room?
I think what happens here, Crash, is you clock like a number of Urbots coming out from like one specific location where it seems like that is where the majority of them are maybe coming from. And so you think in that moment, that must be where their charging stations or their docking bays are. That must be where you need to go to hack into this situation. And so you sneak through, and even when there are Urbots directly above you, they don't seem to be really reacting to your presence. So you cross over to that area, and you see there's a door in front of you, and Bobbio is able to beep beep boop boop hack open the door, and whoosh, and it definitely opens up into an office. You see that there is in fact a central server looking thing. Bobbio nods at you. He walks across the room and he plugs his hacking device into it. And as he does, red lights go on throughout the entire facility. Alarms start going off. And that device that Bobbio plugged into starts to rise up from the ground. And you realize it's not necessarily a central server, but a large Urbot that begins to activate. glowing red lights scanning across the room before they land on the three of you.
Intruders! Intruders! Vacate the premises at once!
And we are going to end the episode there and pick up from that next time on Escape the Dungeon.
What are you doing to us? Oh my gosh.
All right.
Thank you for listening to Escape the Dungeon. Escape the Dungeon is created by Dom Brass, Nate Brass, Zach Brass, and Mike Cripps, with editing and original music by Tyler Nate. If you enjoyed this show, please consider subscribing and leaving a 5-star review on your favorite podcast app. To find us on social media, go to escapethedungeonpod.com.